You don't need to raise your voice to win. You don't need to explain yourself. And you definitely don't need to react. The moment you stop responding the way they expect, something shifts, not on the surface, inside them. They start filling the silence with their own fear. Most people don't understand this. They think silence means weakness. They think it means you lost confidence, lost interest, or lost control. That belief alone is why silence works. Because manipulators rely on noise. They rely on reactions. They rely on you needing to be understood. The truth is simple. Whoever speaks less controls the frame. Watch how people behave when they can't read you. They lean forward. They talk more. They reveal things they never planned to say. Not because you forced them, but because silence removes the mirror they use to adjust themselves. Think about the last time someone tried to push you. Maybe they questioned your decision. Maybe they twisted your words. Maybe they used guilt, sarcasm, or urgency. They expected resistance, or defense, or explanation. But imagine this instead. You say nothing, no argument, no justification, no emotional signal, just stillness. That's when manipulation collapses. Because manipulation needs movement. It needs emotional friction. Silence gives it nothing to grip. People who manipulate are terrified of two things: unpredictability and self-control. Silence represents both. In real life, this happens everywhere. In relationships, silence exposes insecurity. When someone tries to provoke you into chasing, apologizing, or proving your worth, your quiet refusal to engage forces them to confront their own fear of losing control. Suddenly they start over-explaining. They accuse. They test. They reach bar BR at work. Silence dismantles power games. When a coworker tries to dominate a meeting or bait you into defending yourself, your calm pause makes them uncomfortable. They rush. They talk too much. They reveal agendas. You stay centered while they lose precision. In family dynamics, silence ends old patterns. The guilt trips stop working. The emotional leverage fades, not because you fought back, but because you stopped feeding it. Stoic thinkers understood this without calling it manipulation or power. They observed behavior. They saw that emotional reactions enslave the mind. And they knew that restraint creates freedom. Dr. Not loud restraint, not dramatic restraint, but quiet restraint. Silence is not the absence of strength. It is strength under control. Most people speak to be safe, to be liked, to be understood. Powerful people speak to be precise. And sometimes the most precise response is none at all. When you stay silent, you force others to reveal their intentions. Words are masks. Silence removes them. Notice how quickly people expose themselves when you don't interrupt them. How contradictions appear. How motives leak out. How confidence fades when there's no reaction to bounce off. This is not about being cold. It's about being unmovable. There's a moment when silence becomes louder than words. It's when the other person realizes they can't steer you. They can't provoke you. They can't rush you. And they can't control the outcome. That realization scares people. They may call you distant, arrogant, passive-aggressive. That's not an insult, that's a confession. It means your silence disrupted their expectations. You see, manipulation thrives on predictability. If they know you'll defend yourself, they accuse. If they know you'll explain, they demand clarity. If they know you'll react emotionally, they push harder. Silence breaks the pattern. It doesn't mean you never speak. It means you choose when. And when you do, your words carry weight because they are rare. Think of someone who talks constantly. Their words blend into noise. Now think of someone who speaks only when necessary. When they speak, people listen. Silence creates gravity. In psychological terms, silence forces projection. People project their fears, intentions, and assumptions into the void you leave. They tell on themselves without realizing it. This is why silence feels dangerous, not because it harms, but because it reveals. There's a reason interrogators use silence. a reason negotiators pause, a reason confident leaders don't rush to respond. Silence puts pressure on the other side's mind, not their emotions. And pressure reveals cracks. The average person cannot tolerate silence. They rue to fill it. They mistake motion for control. But control lives in patience. Patience is quiet power. When you stop reacting, you step out of their emotional frame. You're no longer playing their game, you're observing it. This is where real control begins. You don't argue with manipulation, you outlast it. Over time, people learn something about you. They learn that emotional tricks don't work, that urgency doesn't rush you, that guilt doesn't move you, that drama finds no audience, and once they learn that, their behavior changes. Some will respect you, some will retreat, some will try harder, but none of them will control you. Silence doesn't need validation. It doesn't seek approval. It doesn't beg for understanding. That's why it unsettles people who rely on influence rather than integrity. There's a deep Stoic principle hidden here. You don't control others. You control yourself. And when self-control becomes visible, it dominates environments without effort. This is why silence feels heavy. It carries the weight of discipline. Think about anger. Most people vent it. You contain it. That containment becomes intimidating because it signals awareness. It signals choice. Think about fear. Most people confess it through over-talking. You don't. Your calm exposes their anxiety. Think about power. Most people perform it. You embody it. This doesn't mean silence is always the answer. It means silence is the default until speaking serves a purpose. The strongest response is, oh, F10 delayed. In conversations, pause before answering. In conflicts, let others reveal their hand. In accusations, don't rush to defend. Truth doesn't need speed. Lies do. Silence forces liars to work harder. And the harder they work, the clearer they become. People mistake silence for agreement. Let them. People mistake silence for weakness. Let them. The truth always surfaces with time. What matters is that you don't betray yourself by reacting emotionally just to relieve discomfort. Discomfort is temporary. Loss of control is permanent. When you speak from silence, your words land deeper. They're not reactive, they're intentional. And intention carries authority. This is why silence is louder than manipulation. Manipulation whispers urgency. Silence answers with certainty. The world is full of noise, opinions, demands, pressure. The person who remains centered inside that noise becomes the axis others rotate around. That's not dominance through force. That's dominance through stability. And stability is rare. Most people are chaotic internally. They depend on external reactions to regulate themselves. When you remove that feedback loop, they feel exposed. This is not cruelty. This is clarity. Silence shows people who they are when there's nothing to push against. And here's the truth most won't tell you. Silence will cost you. You will lose people who only liked you when they could influence you. You will disappoint those who expected constant access to your emotions. You will be misunderstood by those who confuse restraint with absence. That's the price, but what you gain is unshakable. You gain self-respect, you gain psychological leverage, you gain peace. And once you experience that peace, noise feels cheap. Use silence wisely, not to punish, not to manipulate, but to protect your inner ground. Because the moment you let others dictate your reactions, you surrender control. And if you forget this, if you break silence just to ease tension or prove worth, remember one thing: those who fear your silence are the same ones who benefit most when you lose it.